Hi, my name is John Oakes, PhD. I love to study human behavior, and I've also personally overcome obesity, and I'm here to help you do the same. Today, I'd like to talk about something relatively basic but fundamental to any self-improvement project, be it quitting smoking, improving your fitness, improving your relationships even. Now, today I'm going to be using the example of food since that's what I have the most experience with. Anyone who has ever gone on a diet or any sort of eating regimen or any plan, you've been hit with cravings. And if you're anything like me, you've been hit hard. I'm 6'4". I've varied between the low 200s on up to over 400 pounds. And I can tell you at any point in that time or even any point in my youth, I was always hungry, just always hungry. That's part of what fed into my weight gain to begin with. It's amazing to me how such a simple emotion as hunger can seem to control so much of our behavior. The truth is we're not powerless to it, not by any stretch, but it does seem to be like very hardwired into the parts of our brain that get us to go left or go right. So the first thing to remember, I think, with dealing with cravings is that it's not your fault. It's hardwired. When you start a workout plan and you immediately start wanting to not do it, or you start a diet plan and you don't want to keep on to it, you want to hit those Oreos, you want to hit those Cheez-Its like they owe you money. Remember that when those feelings come over you, right, especially if you get hit right out of the gate, or even, the worst is when you're doing really good. Day 1, feeling good, eating good. Day 2, feeling good, eating good. Day 3, it's starting to, the initial burst of energy and motivation you had is maybe starting to wane. And day 4, cupcakes are starting to look really good. And you're starting to doubt, everything. You're starting to question what you're even doing. You're starting to question your motivation. That those cravings can come in so strong that any tag along, any emotions that also want to jump on the back of that basic hunger signal can complicate your task. For instance, one thing that happens a lot is people feel a certain way about their cravings. Their body says, hey, let's eat some high calorie foods because that's what the body does. It's always trying to take in energy. But then other parts of our brain see that and go, here we go again, right? There's all kinds of judgment and shame that just flood in. So the first thing you should do when you're having a craving is just remember, this is not my fault. This is natural. This doesn't mean anything about me. It doesn't mean that my weight loss efforts are doomed or my efforts to quit smoking are doomed. Nothing of the sort, okay? So it's just an impulse. That's it. And everything else that we feel about cravings is really other emotions that are hijacking that basic fundamental impulse that's really just there to keep us alive. And the flip side of that, not to sound too harsh, would be to not feel sorry for yourself, to realize that it's just a body signal and not let self-pitying feelings rush in. And woe is me, and why is this happening to me? It's really amazing how on a diet where we chose to go on it, or we even designed it, 2 or 3 days in, those hunger signals start to hit, and maybe they're hitting hard, and you start to feel like, why, God, why, universe, why are you doing this to me? Who is torturing me, right? And it's just you trying to pursue your goals, but this impulse to eat food comes in, which is completely natural, and it's what we do from there that usually scuttles our efforts. It's not the craving per se. And to that I would add, people talk about combating cravings. You're not ever going to combat cravings. That your body's going to put on that signal time and time again. There are certainly ways you can mitigate cravings, but you're never going to fully shut off your body's signal requesting calories, because that's what it does. You're not gonna shut off the body's desire to drink water or seek shelter or seek love. It's not ever gonna happen fully. So what we're gonna do is pay attention to our reaction to those cravings. And it's actually in that reaction that we're gonna have the most ability to change our relationship to cravings and thereby achieve all our goals without getting in our own way. So now that we know that cravings are really just a little alarm bell, that the brain is sending out hormonally saying, feed me, feed me, feed me. It's the same as a toddler begging for candy. It's the same as, have you ever noticed how sometimes you get hit with cravings right after you eat? It's like you give someone $1 and they're like, give me another $1, right? It's just that kind of greediness. The body always wants more. It's never quite enough. And it doesn't always have to do with your actual needs. This part of your brain is nestled far down in the depths of the lizard brain where it's all about survival. And this part of our brain is developed in a time where there wasn't an excess of food. So if you could eat, you should eat. It's just not that way anymore. Obviously, we all know that. But it's good to remember that this is just a barking dog. This is just a dumb lizard part of our brain going eat, 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 eat. Because if we didn't have that signal, we wouldn't have survived the millennia, hundreds of thousands of years that we have. So what can we do? You're getting hit with cravings. It's not time to eat, or you're getting hit with a craving to eat something that's not on your plan. What do? The very first thing is to step back and start noticing things. That sounds very passive, but a lot of times the problem isn't passivity, it's overactivity, right? You're getting in your own way, right? No one messes up your diet except for you, and that's a proactive way that you're screwing things up by eating the thing you don't want to eat, right? So actually the best response to that is to take a passive role. Just watch, just notice the craving, notice the feeling in your body. One thing I like to do is if I'm feeling kind of that painful craving, to actually say, where in my body is this feeling and how big is it? And I'll notice that the feeling feels like it's all over me and all around me, but it's really, if I just let it contract to where it really is, it's maybe just in one spot in my chest or my stomach or whatever. And you realize like, oh, 99% of my body is perfectly happy right now. There's just one kind of feeling in my gut or my chest or my, maybe some people feel it in their neck or throat. And you realize, oh, this is actually quite minimal. It's actually my response to it. I'm trying to fight it, so I'm getting tense. And that brings me to my next point, that relaxation is gonna curb cravings sometimes better than actually giving into them. Like I've done that before where I've eaten the Oreo and I just want more Oreos. The craving doesn't actually go away when you respond to it. It's sort of like if your stress says, oh, you gotta go talk to this person right now. You gotta write this email right now. And then you write the email. Does your stress magically go away? No, usually if you kind of respond to a stressful impulse, you just feed it. You just get more stress. Very rare are the occasions where anxiety says, you gotta do this, and then you do it, and then you feel better. So yeah, relaxation is key. And obviously you can just think about relaxing individual parts of your body. You can Google something called progressive muscle relaxation. It's very effective for all kinds of stuff. Or you can just breathe. Just breathe. Breathing is one of the most underrated acts in your arsenal. It's a tool every single person has. It's not sexy. It's not something that's gonna make me or anyone else $1 million, but you just breathing can reduce your anxiety. It can connect you better to yourself. It can connect you to your body, which can actually help you process feelings of pain. We'll talk about this a lot more. I have a lot of experience with chronic pain and coping with it. And like most things in life, you actually deal with it better when you turn into it and feel it more rather than try and fight it. And cravings are no different. So we notice the craving, we sit with it, we breathe, we relax. We realize the craving is actually quite small compared to what we thought it was. And once we see its actual size, right? We're not trying to minimize it. We're not trying to force it down. Let it be whatever it is, right? If it's this big in your chest, let it be that big. If it's this big, let it be that big. If it's a really painful hunger, let it be painful. And don't fight it. Don't fight it one bit. Don't let a single muscle in your body compound the feeling of that craving, whether it's for a cigarette or for an Oreo or what have you. And at this point, there is no magic solution. Like many things in life, we carry them with us. We be with the emotion, you'll find that you're bigger than this emotion. You deal with emotions that are somewhat unpleasant all day, every day, whether you want to or not. But when you actually make the choice to be with it, it's empowering. And I'm not saying we choose to have the craving, but we choose to be with it and to not fight it. And what this creates is sort of a flowy, graceful relationship between us and that thing. We're not fighting it. We're not getting into our fight or flight mode, right? We're not gonna deepen our knee-jerk reaction into our survival modes, which if you're like me, eating is a big one, right, for comfort. We don't need to be comforted if we're in a peaceful relationship with something that is a relatively minor ache or pain at the end of the day. So now that you've minimized what the craving is and you've minimized your overreaction to it and you've created this relaxed, peaceful state, now you're primed and ready to go about your day. Do the things you want to be doing with your fitter self. Do the things you want to be doing as a non-smoker. Do the things you want to be doing rather than spending all day clicking buttons on your phone, right? Do those things, be active, because we've all seen how you get really into a project or whatever and you forget to eat. All these signals get easily drowned out just by connecting with the things that mean a lot to us. Working out is obviously fantastic. Just going for a walk. Man, talk about another underrated activity. Just go for a walk. Do anything to move your body and to stimulate your mind in a productive way. The brain can't focus on too many things at once, and that's a blessing and a curse, but in this case, it's a blessing and we can use it to our advantage. And because of that, there's some sort of bonuses, right, baked into this. Once you've minimized the craving and created a peaceful relationship to it, you can do things like change the temperature, right? You can open a window, you can take off your sweater, you can put on a sweater, you can just play with the temperature of your body or whatever you're drinking, or you could have a hot tea instead of a hot tea. If you're feeling hot, you can have a really cold tea. You can have a cold coffee. You could drink straight hot water. Like just putting a different temperature of thing inside your body can trick your system into having a different experience and a different focus, right? It might not take away the craving altogether, but it will help. And one little trick I use is to drink something bubbly, right? There's all kinds of no calorie, no sweetener, no BS seltzer waters these days. There's all kinds of stuff that you can, relatively healthy, that you can drink to just fill up your stomach. And I use it at the end of the day after I eat dinner. And my body's like, all right, let's have a couple more dinners now. I can just sort of drink a seltzer water and 20 minutes later, I feel completely even again, just because it gave my stomach a way to feel full just long enough for my food to process and those chemicals to get released into my body and my brain to realize that it's not starving, it has plenty of food. So some of it's just a waiting. A lot of times it's just about letting the craving pass, right? Because cravings are like any emotion, they always pass. So thanks for watching. This is my first video ever, so I hope I did a good job. I hope this was helpful for you in whatever you're pursuing right now. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can comment below and let me know what you'd like me to talk about. If you have a great way of dealing with cravings, please tell us, tell everyone in the comments below. And please hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate the support, and I really just want to help people with everything I've learned along the way in my process, and that's what I'm here to do. So, all right, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.